There we go. All right. Folks, thanks for coming this morning. Really appreciate it. I know it's like Saturday morning. Who wants to come to learn? People take a break, right? Okay. All right, so let's do this. What I wanted to originally do is have like a 30-minute session, 10-minute break, then move on. So let's see if we can do that. And maybe we'll take a lunch break around 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. But what I also want to do is go through this presentation hopefully within 30 minutes to an hour. Then after that, we want to do hands-on. That basically means get the domain, get the hosting, install the WordPress. Then we're going to go on the back end and basically understand what every sections mean, okay? So my name is Yusufchowdhury. I'm a digital marketing coach. I have a business where we build websites, do social media, SEO, marketing, coaching, and whatnot, okay? So if you want to get in touch with me in social media, please look up for my name in all those social media channels. And that is my personal cell phone number. So feel free to call me anytime, even 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just not going to answer it for you, but feel free to do that, okay? And you can text me to you. And that is my personal website that is not fully complete, but you can check it out. Okay? All right. So now, how many of you built a website? 1, 2, 3, kind of? 4. Okay. Now, how many of you already have a domain name? Okay, good. What about web hosting? Kind of? All right, cool. So before building a website, there are a few things you have to think and consider, right? Before you get the domain address, before you even get the hosting and whatnot, there are a few things you have to identify 100%, okay? The first thing is, who is your target market? You have to understand who is your customer. Because if you know who's your customers, all the information that you're going to put on the website will be talking to that customer. Does that make sense? If I'm into the business of wedding planner, I'm talking to people that are getting engaged or going to get married. So all the languages, all the messages is for them. Does that make sense? I know it sounds simple, but trust me, most business don't even have a clue. What does that mean for them? Okay? If I'm going to start a website for wedding planners, I don't want somebody who wants to buy a Harley Davidson motorbike to find my site because I'm in the business of wedding planner. Does that make sense? So you have to identify who is your target market. If I'm a math tutor, I need to specify my target market. Maybe I would like to do math to high school kids, right? But even then, you cannot say, this is my profession, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. You have to be very specific, because if you are going to say, I'm a math tutor for high school, kids, how are you going to target that? Because everyone else is going to do the same thing. So it'll be a little bit challenging and difficult for you to target a oversaturated market. So you have to do something, we call it niche, or nichify that market, right? So what I can do, for example, hey, I teach high school kids to, let's say, single professional mothers. That's my target market. I only teach their kids because they're professional. They're single mothers that have 2 or 3 kids, and 1 of them or 2 of them are high school. That's my target market. So when I build a site, it will talk to that person. Are you a professional mother who need a math tutor or something like that? Because if you do this, you're actually nichifying your market, okay? But if you overgeneralize it, that's going to be very difficult for you to, get some sort of lead. Because if everyone is doing it, it's not going to be that easy. So you have to really identify who's your target market, okay? Then, what do you want the visitor to do? If somebody comes to your website, y'all can give me some answers. If somebody wants to come to your website, what do you want them to do for your business?
Spend money.
Spend money. How are they going to spend money? They're just going to look at the screen and money flies from their eyes, right? How are they going to spend money?
Look at your products, buy your products.
Okay, look at your products, buy your product. What else? You see, the thing is, what do you want them to do? If they visit your website, what do you want them to do? You said buy a product, how? How are they going to buy a product? You have to tell them to do something, right? Think about it. What are you going to tell them? And where? Anyone else?
In the middle, call now.
Call to action, right?
Yeah.
Call to action. So let's see, if I'm a plumber, my primary objective is to get phone calls. So when they visit my website, I'm going to say, call this number. or book an appointment. That's called call to action. This is what I want them to do. When they visit my website, I want them to call me. Does that make sense? If I sell, I don't know, embroidery, t-shirt on, let's say I have an e-commerce website, I want to sell books or t-shirt, so what should I tell them when they visit my website?
Give them general information about what you're about.
That's going to be there, that's true, but that's later. But what is the primary objective of your website? That has to be clear. Before the information, before about the company, before the product, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to call you? Then call this number. Do you want them to shop online? Shop now. Because you have to define my objective of the website. You cannot create a website and think like a brochure. Does that make sense? Customer don't, yes, people gonna, if they're interested to buy awesome college t-shirt, that's what they're looking for, and they find your website, of course they're gonna look about the company, who you are, what you do, what kind of material, but there is a specific call to action that you want them to buy right away. I see your website, cool, awesome t-shirt design, buy now. That's it, you tell them buy now. Because this is how you make money. So you have to define that. You can't just put a site with a bunch of information and there's a shopping cart on the bottom and expect them to buy. No, you have to tell them what they need to do. Does that make sense? Like I have a client, Texas Bariatric, they do, what do you call it, weight loss surgery. So the first thing on their website that is an orange colored button, it says get started. So when somebody visits their website, it says get started. When they click on it, it shows them step by step how they need to call, set up an appointment, meet the physician, and so forth. They defined it like that because they want their customer to go through that whole process. So for you, you have to make a decision. If somebody comes to my website, what do I want them to do? Like the primary action. You know what? I sell stuff online. I want them to buy. Buy now. Shop now. Right? If you're into online marketing business, or if you're an author, maybe you're going to say something like, "Hey, get a copy of this 10 page of my book that hasn't been released yet. I'll give you 10 pages for free. Put your name and email address." That is a call to action. That's what I mean by what do you want them to do. Okay, that's the first thing. So you have to define your call to action. Whether call me, set up an appointment, get a copy, do breakdowns, whatever the case may be, okay? Then, how many pages do you need and why? You have to define this. You can't just get a domain address and hosting and just expect things to fall on you, right? So you have to make a decision. How many pages do I need and why do I need those pages? We know that the home page is where everyone land into, right? So when they click your domain name, the home page is the first thing they see. Makes sense. That's why I need the home page. Maybe I'll have my video. Maybe I'll have my intro, right? What's the second highest visited page after the home page? About, yes. Because they want to know who you are, what kind of company you are, what kind of business you're in. Does that make sense? So that's why we also need an about page. Now, if you have services or product, then of course you need service or product page, right? What else do we need and why?
E-commerce.
If you're an e-commerce business, but you don't call it e-commerce, you call it shop online.
Isn't everybody e-commerce?
No. E-commerce, no. Not everything e-commerce. E-commerce means you sell a product with a shopping cart. That's called e-commerce. Does that make sense? Not everyone is e-commerce. E-commerce is totally different. E-commerce means you're building a site that you're selling a tangible product. Okay? But even if you're into the e-commerce business, you will say shop online. Shop now. Why? Because you're selling those products. That's another page. What else we need to put? Contact us. Don't you want your customer to contact you? Right? Your phone number, your map, your address. Right? That's what's important, correct? What else?
Maybe a blog or testimonials.
Testimonial is there, of course. If you have a good business, you have a good customers, yes, testimonial builds credibility, true. Blog is very, very important. I believe blog is a primary number one page. Then somebody tell me why blogging is important.
Let people know who they're dealing with.
Let people know who are they dealing with. Okay, that's a good answer. Where else?
It keeps your website up to date sometimes when you don't constantly update it.
Absolutely. So you constantly updating the website, and that will help in two perspectives. It It will help you for the search engine. Because what happens if you have a website that is static, there's no blog, there's no content updating, it is considered a dead website. So these so-called bots, spider, crawler, whatever you call them for the Google and Bing and Yahoo, in order for them to come and read your site, in order for them to come and index it, if there's nothing new, they're not going to come. And you wonder, I built this website, it's been almost 2 years, it's not ranking. Yeah, because there's nothing there to rank. But when you add content on a consistent basis, on a weekly basis or whatever, the search engine will eventually notice it and it will get a signal. Okay, so that's one point. Secondly, which I consider a primary point, and that is it builds your credibility. You become the expert. So if I talk about online marketing all the time, giving free resources and sharing tips, advice, case studies, I become the expert to my target market, to my customer. I don't even have to convince them that I'm an expert. The fact that I'm sharing that knowledge, right, I become the expert. What's better than that? And that's how they build the trust, it builds credibility, that's how they buy from you. So if you're a graphic designer, blog about graphic design. If you're a web developer, blog about web development. But the way you blog, it has to be something extremely educational. That you have to share everything. People tell me, I don't want to share my secret. Well, tell you what, there's no secret on the internet. Everything is available. Even if you don't write it, somebody else wrote it. The difference is, you might have a different style. You might have a different audience. Does that make sense? So that's what you need a blog for, making sure the website is up to date. It will help with the search engine organically, and it will build your credibility. You get customers through that. Because when they see, oh wow, you're sharing this knowledge, yeah, we're going to go with you because you're giving so much information. It tells us that you know what you're talking about. It means you know what you're doing. Okay, so we're talking about home, about, services or product, all shop online if you have shop online, testimonials, and contact us, and of course blog. Okay, and my recommendation, when you build pages, the initial menu bar on the top, do not put more than like 5 or 6. Okay, because what happens sometimes, if you have, let's say under services, you have 20 pages. You don't want to put the 20 pages on the main navigation bar because it will become too cluttered and too busy, and most visitors might not even visit all of them. So the best thing is minimize your menu. Have like 4 or 5, and the services, if you have like 6, 7 pages, then make a sub page, because you got to make it easy on the eye. Does that make sense? You got to keep it very simple. One of the important things when it comes to web that unfortunately most people don't talk about is called UX, user experience. Sometimes you have to consider, when somebody visits my website, is it very easy for them to navigate? Is it very fast? Are they having an awesome experience, like going to an awesome restaurant? Same thing with the web. Your website has to be fast, easy to find what I need, easy to read information. The map is good, it's static, it's not moving like crazy. The phone number is clickable. The font is clear to read. It's not too small, like 2-inch, right? It's not a great color. Like, it's so great I can't even read it. You see how some like photography website, like all fancy looking, but the font is so small, it's so gray. You need to have like a microscope or something to read it, right? So you have to think from user experience. Okay? It's not just about the graphic and the look. It's about how fast, how easy it is to use. Okay? So any question about how many pages and why, right? No question? Good. Now, sitemap basically means if you have like what I mean by sitemap, this is your home page, right? This is your home page, and let's say this is your about page, right? And this is your services, then you have like sub-pages, right? That's what I mean by sitemap. You make this for yourself so you can organize your thoughts. Okay? So I'm going to make sure that these are the main pages, the sub-pages, and sub-pages and whatnot. Now, the most important thing right now also is think mobile. I believe last year, I don't exactly remember which month, but Google made an announcement that the search for people that go to Google to search for anything from mobile surpass the laptop, which means your website has to be mobile as well. The design cannot be just meant for the desktop. So right now, there's some traditional web companies that are making the mistake where they're selling website that is desktop based. So when the client tells them I need mobile, then they charge double. Does that make sense? You don't want to do that. You want to think mobile first, because everything is mobile now. So your customer, when they Google San Antonio chiropractor, San Antonio this, and you also shows up and it's not mobile friendly, there is a chance that Google might not even show that website because of that bad user experience. So the website has to be like, sync within your mobile device. So we have something called responsive-based design. And the good thing about WordPress, most of them come as responsive-based design. Because what happens, they basically change the design automatically to the mobile device. And they can experience an awesome experience. Does that make sense?
What is the name?
Responsive-based design, that's what is it called. Okay? Long time ago, they used to make a website meant for the desktop, and they make a separate website for the mobile. And they used to call it M. whatever the domain name is. But the problem with that situation, now you have to update two websites. One for the desktop, one for the mobile. And the one on the mobile looks like a bunch of menus. Don't look fancy, good looking, like the main website. So customers used to get confused. I'm like, is this the same website like that one? Because they don't look the same. So they used to cause a problem. But with the responsive base, you will see the same logo, same color, but the design will be a little bit different. And I'm going to show you some examples how they look like, okay? Any questions so far about before you build the website? Are we good? Oh, genius. All right. Now, so when we start with the basic, you need to have a domain name, a web hosting server, and a website platform. So of course, in web development, there's so many platforms: Java, Drupal, Ruby on Rails, Joomla, and whatnot. And of course, for today, we're using WordPress. And I'm going to also tell you the difference between the WordPress.com later on, and what's the difference between that and WordPress.org. But for us, this session is called Building a Website on a Self-Hosted WordPress. This is not the WordPress.com. This is called self-hosted. Why? Because you have the domain name from GoDaddy. You also have the web hosting maybe from GoDaddy or SiteGround or Rackspace, and you are building your site on that server. Does that make sense? So you need those two. Okay? All right. So there you go. Of course, you know what is the domain name. onlinebusinessowners.org, that's my domain. Domain can be, I recommend the domain name should be a business name, whether it's your personal name as a business or name of a business. Because 7 years ago, some businesses or some marketing agencies, what they used to do, if you're a dentist, let's say the name of your business is Crazy Ninja Dentist. That's the name of your business, right? So instead of getting a domain name Crazy Ninja Dentist, what they do is SanAntonioDentistry.com or Dentist in San Antonio. So they used to use like a keyword-based domain, and they build a new website just for the ranking purposes, right? But that doesn't work anymore. Google has changed that algorithm, okay? And secondly, it used to confuse the customer. Because if your name is Crazy Ninja Dentist, what does San Antonio Dentist, is it the same business? Is it different? Is somebody copying it? So I recommend name of the business, or if you're a personal consultant like myself, have your personal name as the business, okay? Make sure the name is short. Don't have a business name like, for example, the best dentist on the corner of Leon Valley on the 2nd Street.com. That is so long to remember, okay? Keep it very small, very short, like, LeonValleyDentist.com, that's it. Because what happens if you make it too long, people don't remember it, okay? And if you make it too short, like 2 words, 3 words, that's very, very good. And also don't make it uncomplicated. Some people use abbreviation. So imagine, best dentistry and LeonValley.com. If you abbreviate all this thing, it's like, nobody could remember that. So the best thing is just the name of your business.com, or 3 to 4 letters abbreviation. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, well, of course. So web hosting, this is where you build your website. Now, when you buy the domain name, let's say you want to GoDaddy, for example. You can purchase the domain name through them, which is once a year, and you have to also purchase a web hosting. Now, you can purchase the web hosting from GoDaddy, or you can purchase it somewhere else. You can do that too. Does that make sense? I can get.
You recommend GoDaddy as the go-to?
That's an excellent question. Unfortunately, there's so many hosting providers, like countless, hundreds, okay? And they all have the same machine, okay? So there's no difference. They all have the same servers. They're not like this one has an X super server. They're all the same server. The difference is what? In service, customer support. That's the only difference. But they're all the same. So GoDaddy, of course, they get like 10 million hits a month. They're very popular. But when it comes to actual hosting, I recommend SiteGround.com. I recommend maybe HostGator. I recommend WP Engine, Flywheel. But
why do you recommend them?
Well, I personally don't have a good experience with the GoDaddy's hosting service.
Yes,
But
sir.
that doesn't mean they're not good. I mean, I have some clients that they are on GoDaddy, they're doing fine. But me personally, I never had a good experience with their hosting. No, their hosting. That means
Customer
that
service.
the customer is okay, but their server always goes down.
Oh.
You know, goes down or doesn't work or it's too slow and issues. You know, that's why I just personally don't recommend the hosting.
Can you write those recommended?
It's there in the presentation. You're moving too fast, man. Calm down. Okay, so yeah. But what I want to explain is that you can get everything from one place, okay, or you can get from two places. You can get the domain name from GoDaddy, okay, but you can also get it. Let's say I want the hosting from Rackspace. Does that make sense? The difference is, which one do you think is easier to manage?
Having everything together.
Right. If you have everything in one place, then everything's in one place. You don't have to do anything. But if you have like two places, what you have to do, let's take an example. Let's say you took the domain name from GoDaddy, right? And you get the hosting from HostGator. So what happened, you have to go to GoDaddy, log into GoDaddy, go to DNS Manager, which is the domain name server, and take the name server of HostGator and put it in GoDaddy. So you can tell GoDaddy the name server is not here, the name server is somewhere else, so you can build it somewhere else. Does that make sense? Or is it a little bit complicated?
No.
Okay, so today you can make a decision which one to go with, okay? And I'm going to show you what they are. Here we go. Before we do that, it's right here, right? Before we do that, let me explain a little bit quickly what's the difference. What's the difference, okay? Shared hosting. What is a shared hosting? Just by the definition, just by the name of it.
About 20 websites on one server.
Yes, that means you probably have 20 or even 100 or 1,000 websites or clients in one server. That means all of us are in this hosting server. Does that make sense? So what happens, I mean, that's the advantage is it's cheap, it's affordable, like $5 a month, it's very affordable. Now the disadvantage is if one of us gets so many traffic or get hacked or got viruses, there's a chance that maybe some of you will have issues, okay? That's not a disadvantage, but don't worry about it because most companies, they're not gonna allow that to happen.
And they're
okay?
just as fast, right, as the other ones?
Absolutely correct, yes. And the second one is dedicated, and that means what? Dedicated by its name, that's your own server. That means nobody's sharing it. And the benefit of this one is highly secure, right? And it's much faster because you're renting that one space. Does that make sense? And you can see the prices, they're not that cheap, okay? They're not that affordable. Cloud hosting, which is very popular right now, where if one server goes down, the other one's gonna keep running. And the thing with the cloud hosting, they will charge you based on how many bandwidth you use or how many storage. So let's say next year your storage went down, the price will go down, okay? Virtual private server, then of course the last one is WordPress hosting. So there's so many companies including GoDaddy, SiteGround, Flywheel. Now they have a specific hosting just for WordPress. Like if you don't have a WordPress website, they're not gonna host it. And the prices for most of them are from 25 to almost to 300. Like for example, WP Engine, their initial price is like $30 a month. Pressable, which is a company here in San Antonio, I think WordPress bought them, just so you know. Yeah, WordPress acquired Pressable. It was $25 a month. And Flywheel, same thing. But for today or for any small business, I recommend the shared hosting. Now, if you're an e-commerce, now here's to be careful. If you're an e-commerce, if you sell stuff online, like with the shopping cart and whatnot, eventually, if you make enough money, you gotta go with dedicated. Because you have too many products, maybe 50 products, 100 products, too many transactions. That requires not just a fast, dedicated site, but security and SSL, all this stuff. But initially, you start with this. Once you make enough money for e-commerce folks, switch to the dedicated. Because the shared hosting cannot handle all this stuff. Okay? Now, with the recommendation, as you asked, there you go. So you have GoDaddy, you have Flywheel, Namecheap, HostGator, SiteGround. These guys are very expensive. Forget them. Okay? You see, the cheapest price is like $150 a month. Who's going to do that? Are you crazy? Rackspace? What's wrong with you? Okay? So, but I'm mentioning it because they're a local, company here in San Antonio. So that's why I mentioned them. And Pressable is a local. What do you call it? They actually, I'm going to spell the secret. They actually use Rackspace's server. Okay, so instead of paying them $150, you can pay these guys $25 a month. So smart Percival, smart, but unfortunately, I mean, not fortunately, they got bought by WordPress, which is a great news. I'm very happy for the founder. WP Engine, they're from Austin. They have a new office here downtown at Geekdom, $30 a month. They specialize in WordPress. Namecheap, of course, very, very affordable. But I personally, right now, I recommend every client to go with this. Because you can pay $47 a year, and that's it, for web hosting. Okay, and if you have a new domain, you can get the first year for free. That's it. And I can show you how to install and all that stuff. All right? And the customer support is really good. They're actually a company from Europe. I don't know, from Belgium, something like that. But they have an office in Chicago, and the support is great. You can just go and chat with them. And because they have a service specifically for WordPress, they have some expert that can help you and whatnot. Okay? So I recommend with SiteGround. And if you need my affiliate link, so I can get paid commission, let me know. I'll give you that link. Gotta make some money, right? And I teach you guys how to sign up as an affiliate, so you all can make money. Blog about this class and sign up as an affiliate and make some extra cash. All right, so difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. When it comes to WordPress.com, do not use it. That's it. Okay, that's not for business. That's not for you. That's for your cousin, your niece, your sister, your brother. Tell them you want to blog. Go to WordPress.com. Stop blogging. Learn how to blog. Okay. And the WordPress.org is another confusion. Some people say, yeah, I'm not with WordPress.com, but I have a self-hosted WordPress website through WordPress.org. No, buddy. You don't buy through WordPress.org. WordPress.org are telling you, if you want to have a self-hosted website, what you need to do is go to Bluehost. So they have an affiliate account with Bluehost. You click on Bluehost, and you're just signing up the hosting through Bluehost. You don't need, you can just go directly to Bluehost and just get it through them. They're just like in a HostGator. Okay? With the free version, as you can see, it comes with this limitation, 3 GB. They have a good automatic backup, maintenance and whatnot, but they're very limited. That means I cannot install a premium plugin. If I want to add like an SEO plugin, or a forum plugin, or a shopping cart plugin, I can't do that. Because this is like Blogger, it's like Tumblr, it's like LiveJournal. You cannot code it, you cannot customize it. Okay? It's not meant for, and you are under their mercy. That means if they decide to shut you down, they can. Does that make sense? Just like everyone knows what is Tumblr and LiveJournal and Blogger.com. It's like that. Okay, so what you need is you need to go to Bluehost or SiteGround or HostGator, get a domain name, and install the WordPress if you're web hosting. And this is very important. You know why? The number one importance is because it's called full ownership. You have a full ownership to your domain. You have a full ownership to your hosting. So if you decide, you know what, I'm tired of HostGator, let me go to SiteGround. You can transfer everything because you own it. Does that make sense? But WordPress.com, you don't own it. You own the account. Like Facebook, you don't own Facebook. You make a Facebook business page, yes, but do you own it? No, you don't own it. If Facebook decides to shut it down, they can shut you down. YouTube, you don't own YouTube. If they want to shut you down, they can shut you down. But if you have your own website, your own domain name, your own hosting, you can do whatever you want with it. Does that make sense? That's why this is like the most important thing when it comes to the .com and .org. Let me show you how both look like so you can get an idea. So the WordPress.com, this is WordPress.com, see? It's just create a site. Before, they never used to have your personal website. Long time ago, I think 1 or 2 years ago, before that, if you go to WordPress.com, let's say I signed up, yusufchowdhury, right? What's going to happen, the link that I will get, it will be yusufchowdhury.wordpress.com. That's how it always was, right? Then they added a feature, you can have your own domain name, so it will look like yusufchowdhury.com, but in the back end, it's actually the same. It's yusufchowdhury.wordpress.com. Does that make sense? I don't have full control. That's the only difference. That's the WordPress.com. Like I said, for us as a business, do not go with this. If you don't have to blog, then you can because it's completely free. Now, the WordPress.org, this is a place where it's like a forum. It's a community. Here, you can sign. You can go to the forum. You can involve with the community through Meetup. There's so many geek developers when they write instruction, it's really unreadable. Okay, so you can go and join them and start writing it for them. Yeah, under the involvement right there. You see, it's a community. They have all the information about the plugin, about the themes, all the big websites that use WordPress. There is a forum. When you log in, you can ask a question. Hey, I'm using this free theme. It's not working. Do you know how to fix it? So it's a community-based site. Does that make sense? It's not a place to sign up for the service. So what happened, if I want to, for example, right here where it says hosting, if I click on hosting, what does it do? It says, hey, go with Bluehost. You see, they're not the one who's providing the hosting. They actually partner with Bluehost, and Bluehost is the one that, go through them. Does that make sense? And if you go to Showcase, can you all see the screen, or should I turn off the light?
You don't have Bluehost that you're recommended, so you don't recommend them?
I don't. Personally, I don't.
Why?
Because when you set up the WordPress, it is not as easier as HostGator. Is
And
it better now?
iPage?
Huh?
iPage?
iPage, HostGator, MonsterHost, Bluehost, they're all the same. They all look the same too. Is it better now like this, or is it too dark?
No, it's good.
It's good? Okay. So, but again, some people do recommend Bluehost, and WordPress recommends it. So look at these websites. Look at these. You got Vogue, right? You got Vogue. You got Walt Disney Company. Huh? So some people are gonna say, "Oh, WordPress is not secure." Well, if that's the case, then how come Fortune 500 companies builds it on WordPress? Okay, so you can see all this showcase about which companies are using WordPress. Okay? Okay, all right. Any more questions? Are we good? Now you know why I don't recommend WordPress.com? All right. So we need to know types of themes. So when you install WordPress, by default, you will get theme 2016 by default. Okay? And there's a difference between a free theme and a paid theme. So the free one, of course, it's just free. That is the advantage. But the disadvantage is, what if there's an issue with the theme? What if you want to fix something and when you want to contact the developer? Well, good luck, okay? Because it's free. You can go to the WordPress.org and go to the forum and find the answers through that, or go to YouTube. But the chances of getting in touch with them, it's not going to be that easy, okay? But the benefit is it's free. And today, of course, we're going to use the free one for now. The paid version, these are companies, like let's say you're a developer, you built the theme and you're selling it. Does that make sense? So there's a Woo theme. These guys specialize in online store, like a e-commerce. They have an e-commerce plugin. Excuse me. Theme Forest, they have more than 25,000 themes. StudioPress, this is the one that I use for most of my clients. Elegant theme, I'm going to show you how each one of them look like, okay? Any questions so far, the difference between this? And with the paid, what happened with the paid version, you will have a support. So we send a ticket, within 24 hours, they respond to you. If WordPress release an update, guess what? Because it's a premium, they'll update right away. But with the free version, if WordPress release an update, that doesn't mean they're going to update their plugin or they're going to update their theme. It might take a while, and that might cause some issues. Because there are some themes that stop getting any update, or some plugin, the developer just didn't want to do anything with it. So that's why I recommend premiums, okay? But when you start with the basic, start with the free one. All right? Okay. Why everyone's falling asleep? Okay. The other thing you have to consider is signing up with a email listing services, because when you build your website and do some sort of online marketing, whether online advertising or organic SEO or social media, if you have customer hitting your website, you have to capture them. Okay? This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see, that there's no lead capture to your site. If somebody comes to your website, you have to offer them something, like, get into my list, get this video, get this course, set up an appointment, get a coupon, give me an email address. Why? Because you're building leads. And you're going to take those leads and convert them into a customer by updating them on a monthly blog or taking them to a social media channel. So there's many platforms. So Infusionsoft and Greenrope are very, very expensive, like $200 a month. Everyone else, like $10 for 500 subscribers and so forth. If you go with Mailchimp, you can have 500 subscribers, I think, with no fees. So you can try it for free. Okay, so sign up with Mailchimp. I'm going to show you how to set it up. And the benefit of these services is this. Imagine if you're getting 50 subscribers every day or 100 subscribers every day. when are you going to have the time to respond to each one of them? You can't. So this system, what they do automatically will say, thank you, Jamie, thank you, John, thank you, Sarah, thank you, Tom, for subscribing, and here's your copy, here's your email, here's your ebook, here's your video, whatever the case may be. And the cool thing about these services, if you have a 500 subscriber within, let's say, 3 months, you can see out of the 500, how many are actually reading your email. So you can organize your list. You can send them a survey. Does that make sense? So this is very important to have it on your website, okay? So you can go with the Mailchimp for now. Measuring tool. This is very important. Any website must have Google Analytics and Google Search Console or Google Webmaster tool. It's a must. Because Google Analytics will tell you how many traffic you are getting, where the traffic is coming from, what kind of browser they're using. Are they coming from mobile device or desktop? Are they US based or international? Are they coming from San Antonio or Dallas? Are they coming from Facebook or YouTube? You have all that information. And not just that, it will tell you how many minutes they're spending on your website and which blog is the most popular or which page get the most views. Because if you have a page that nobody clicks on it, then that means you gotta remove it or change it. Does that make sense? And the Google Webmaster tool, or aka Google Search Console, this is for the on-site SEO. So Google will tell you if there's a malware attacking your site, or if your search engine is not done correctly, or if the crawler cannot crawl. And not just that, when you make your website live, Google has to index your website, right? And that's not going to happen right away. Sometimes it takes like a month. That's why if you have a new client or somebody told you have a new business, you type their business name on Google and they don't show up because they didn't index it. So Google Webmaster tool has a feature where you can tell Google, okay, the website is ready, come and index it for me. And within a week, somebody type your domain name and boom, automatically shows up. And you need this, okay? And both are free. And I'm going to show you how to install it, okay? Any question? Are we good? All right. Plugins. So our plugins. So plugins, these are extra additional features. If I want to add a forum, if I want to add an online store, if I want to add a special social media plugin, if I want to add Google Analytics, that's what I need the plugins for. And this will only work on self-hosted WordPress website. If anybody that you know that has a WordPress.com, they can't do this stuff.
So
Yes.
Webmaster Tools is also a plugin?
No, Webmaster tool, we have to set it up from the service itself. But for Google Analytics, it's a service by itself. But for WordPress, there's a plugin for that you can easily set it up. Okay? Any questions? Okay, and today we're going to install these plugins. So once we build the site, we're going to install some of these plugins, okay? We have an analytics plugin, sharing button, SEO, security, backup plugin, and contact form 7. I think there's one I missed. I will mention it later on. It's called Tiny MCE. Okay? Resources. So if you want to learn more about WordPress, you can go to WordPress.tv or you can go to WP Beginner, because that guy, Saeed, from WP Beginner, he amazingly writes so many cool stuff, but he simplifies complicated things. That's what I love about that site. And he will show you images and everything. Now, when you install WordPress, there are actually 5 ways of doing it. But today, we're going to use the most simplest way, and that is through the hosting. Okay? We don't need the other complicated stuff. Maybe, Kim, you can, since you're a developer, you like complicated stuff, maybe you can go there and find out what other ways to install WordPress locally on your machine. Because you can use the virtual server to install locally and build a site. But for most of us, just straight from the hosting, okay? And I have a friend, Corey Ashton, who is the owner of Integrity. It's a web agency here in San Antonio. She does videos on WordPress. So if you want to check it out, everything about WordPress, go check it out. And we also have a WordPress community in San Antonio. Just go to the meetup.com/San Antonio WordPress. We meet like twice, sometimes 3 times, but for sure at least once a month. We'll meet, we give class, we talk about different things, we get together with other WordPressers, and if you have any issues, we'll try to fix it on the spot. Okay? All right, we're done. Thanks, folks, for coming. Appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about who got the dome. Well, you all want to take a break? All right, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
Put those essential plugins back so I can copy them.
Sure. All right, folks, we'll be back after 10 minutes.